throughout the New Testament, you see that every of such is all a debt system for the believer in Christ. The one of loving one another. The Bible says, owe no man nothing but what? Love. So that's to say you owe men love. That is, you are a debt of love. Every man around, you owe them love. It's because of the tributary system of the kingdom of God. We owe men love. In that tributary system, we owe God service. We owe God service. Because the first thing he did was that he first chose us. After choosing us, he purchased us. The chosen is by his foreknowledge. It's in the order of predestination of sons, election. Not because we merited it. Said, Jacob have I loved, Esau have I hated. Even before they were born. So we were chosen by the grace of God. And then it did not end there. He came through the redemptive work of the cross and purchased us. To redeem is to reclaim, to buy back. So we have been redeemed from the power of darkness. We have been redeemed from the works of the flesh. We have been redeemed from the realms and dominions of darkness. You see, he chose us, he purchased us, and then he conquered us. The choosing, the purchasing, and the conquest. Any man today that loves God is because God has conquered him. There are many things today that God has not conquered because they are still in the battle. They don't want God to conquer. So he chose, purchased, and conquered us by his grace and love. In that ancient system of tributary, once you are conquered, your conqueror owes you the favor of protection. Your conqueror owes you the favor of protection and many other favors. So having been conquered by the Lord himself, there are many things he owes us to do. If you're with me, say amen. I say if you're with me, say amen. There are many things that he owes us today. Most of the lands where Israel conquers till today, you know, Israel is still stretching our borders. Most of the places where they conquer, they annex their nation. They'll keep buying, keep conquering. Once they fight, if Israel fights any war today, they don't fight war for nothing. Israel does not fight any war that does not give her interest. Once they fight any neighboring country, they extend their borders. Once they conquer you, they drive you away, they take over. That's how they stretch their borders. So in conquering us, the Lord owes us protection. While we are walking on our vineyard or whatever we are doing, we are walking knowing that we owe the Lord homage. When the conquered is walking, whatever he is doing it in service to his conqueror. Are we together? It was in the days of Solomon that it was Solomon that caused the division of the kingdom. Solomon put a heavy tax on the people that they could not bear. A heavy tax system that the people could not bear at any level. The tax was too much. Now, even in the kingdom of God, our labors, even in the secular world or whatever we do, it is still in response to God's kingdom. Every man today must be conquered by something. Either you are conquered by the flesh or you are conquered by the spirit of life. And the one that conquers you is your Lord. That's why I told us that we don't say Jesus is Lord in a hurry. And Paul writing to the church in Corinthians saying no man can say Jesus is Lord except by what? The Spirit. So you're saying Jesus is Lord does not mean that it is actually a reality in your life. The one that conquers you is the one that is actually your Lord. Because the Lord is actually the overseer. Is the one that rules and runs the affairs. So the one you pay the debts of your life to, that is actually your conqueror. But we have chosen to be conquered by the Christ. Men like Paul that were wise enough, they declare themselves to have been conquered by the Lord. Paul will write a letter. At the beginning of the letter, he will say, Paul, a bond servant, a slave. You hear today when you call someone servant of God, it is because he is tributary of God. He's a tributary of God. It is because he has been conquered by the Lord and he pays his service to the Lord. So talking about service to the kingdom, anyone that the Spirit of God conquers is actually sentenced to a lifetime of service for him. God does not conquer you and leave you to go on your way. He conquers you to actually work for his interests. And every man today, every woman today that you see that is a child of God is actually conquered of the Lord. The burden we are going to pray, the burden we are going to cry out with this morning is for the Lord to truly conquer us. Because we need to be conquered. Because some of us rested so much even before we came to salvation. We rested too much with God. Imagine how many times God sent people to come and preach Jesus to you. How many times they preached to you and you made caricature of it. I cannot count how many times they came preaching Jesus to me and I made fun of the whole thing. And I will just make the person become ashamed and the person will go. For many years, the Lord was fighting with me to ensure that he conquers me. And then it got to a time that I saw that I could fight no more. I had to let go. And I surrender. You know when they say surrender to Jesus, it means allow him conquer you. Maybe you've not understood the meaning. Surrender your life. You know what it means to surrender? Huh? A soldier is going to fight a war and carries a gun and sees the enemy and drops his gun before the enemy. Do you know the implication of that? Huh? The enemy has his life in his hand. He can either sustain it or end it. What it means to surrender your life to Jesus is that you are surrendering to him, that you become tributary of him, that you are no more of yourselves. Galatians 2 verse 20. For I am crucified with Christ. Nevertheless, I live, yet not I, but Christ liveth in me. And the life I live in the flesh, I live by the faith of the Son of God, who loves me and gave himself. Yet I live, but not I. So it's not the man Paul living, it's Jesus that has extended, that has colonized, that Paul has become a colony of the Christ. The Dutch ruled South Africa, refused to go. Made South Africa a colony till today. That's why you hear of the apartheid regime in South Africa that brought up the likes of Nelson Mandela. That's why you see white South Africans, but no South African was born. Original South African, the Zulu, the Xhosa, all of them, none of them was born white. But the Dutch, having colonized them, they still did not want to go. They began to intermingle, intermarry and all of that. It's just like the British refused to go and they began to intermarry with Nigerians. And you see even a white Nigerian. Are you getting the picture? That country is still a colony of the Dutch still today. I know many South African friends I've had that are white, pure white. They are Dutch. Because South Africa became a colony of their nation. And the conquest system of God is that God makes you his colony. Christ rules, begins to, he gives you his own civilization. The civilization of the flesh is taken away. The civilization of Babylon is deleted, and he brings his own civilization. He brings his own culture. The English we speak today is still a mark of the conquest system. That's why Britain conquered most nations of the world, colonized them, even America, the great America. It was in around 1778 America got her independence. That's why most nations today speak English. It was as a result of conquest. As a result of making them tributary of the Great Britain. That's why even the American president can still pay loyalty to the Queen of England till today. It's a conquest system. And when you are conquered, you are given a new language. You are given new values. No wonder Peter said, being redeemed by the blood, by the precious blood, that we forget the conversations of the past, being traditions, things that don't pertain to the kingdom. We put it aside because we have become a holy nation, a royal priesthood, a peculiar people, a chosen generation, called out of darkness in order to show forth his marvelous light. We are a conquered people, and it is a good thing for you to be conquered by the Lord of the universe himself than to be conquered by fallen spirits. How do you feel a young man in his youth, in all his strength, rises up and something begins to navigate him? He enters somewhere and begins to masturbate. After the masturbation, he begins to cry, knowing that he didn't like that thing he did. He goes again and does that thing. What is happening to that guy? That guy has been conquered. There is another law in operation in him. He has become a debtor to the flesh. Paul says we are debtors, not to the flesh, to do the things of the flesh, but we are debtors of the spirit of life. We owe God so many things. We owe God so many